and welcome back to Friday Reads, where we help you find your next read. I'm Jill.
And I'm Julie, and today we are talking books filled with twists and turns. So, Jill, what's your first twisty book?
So this one, if you're lucky, you'll find it, because it's from our lucky day. It's brand new. It was published, I guess it's not that brand new. It was published in 2024 in January. First Lie Win by Ashley Elston. Evie Porter has everything a nice Southern girl would want. A perfect doting boyfriend, a house with a white picket fence and a garden, a fancy group of friends. The only catch, Evie Porter doesn't exist. The identity comes first, Evie Porter. Once she's given a name and location by her mysterious boss, Mr. Smith, she learns everything there is to know about the town and the people in it. And then the mark, Ryan Summer. The last piece of puzzle is the job. Evie isn't privy to Mr. Smith's real identity, but she knows this job will be different. Ryan has gotten under her skin, and she's starting to envision a different sort of life for herself. But Evie can't make any mistakes, especially after what happened last time. Because the one thing she's worked her entire life to keep clean, the one identity she could always go back to, her real identity, just walked right into this town. Evie Porter must stay one step ahead of her past while making sure there's still a future in front of her. The stakes couldn't be higher, but then Evie has always liked a challenge. First Lie wins. There's a twist.
My first pick is The Perfect Mother by Amy Malloy. I didn't read this one. This is on my to-be-read list, but I did read her Goodnight Beautiful book, and I liked that one. So this is an addictive psychological thriller about a group of women whose lives become unexpectedly connected when one of their newborns goes missing. They call themselves the May Mothers, a collection of new moms who gave birth in the same month. Twice a week, with strollers in tow, they get together in Prospect Park, seeking refuge from the isolation of new motherhood, sharing the fears, joys, and anxieties of their new child-centered lives. When the group's members agree to meet for drinks at a hip local bar, they have in mind a casual evening of fun, a brief break from their daily routines. But on this sultry 4th of July night during the hottest summer in Brooklyn's history, something goes terrifyingly wrong. One of the babies is abducted from his crib. Winnie, a single mom, was reluctant to leave 6-week-old Midas with a babysitter, but the May mothers insisted that everything would be fine. Now, Midas is missing. The police are asking disturbing questions, and Winnie's very private life has become fodder for ravenous media. Though none of the other members in the group are close to the reserved Winnie, 3 of them will go to increasingly risky lengths to help her find her son. And as the police bungle the investigation and the media begins to scrutinize the mothers in the days that follow, damaging secrets are exposed, marriages are tested, and friendships are formed, and friendships are fractured. So, The Perfect Mother.
I was a member of one of those groups.
Were you?
Where all the kids are born the same month. April 99.
Aww.
So this next one is one of my favorite authors of twisty books, and I kind of turned to TikTok to find out which one would be her twistiest, and this is the one.
Oh, I like her books too.
The Good Bad Girl by Alice Feeney. Sometimes bad things happen to good people, so good people have to do bad things. Alice Feeney returns with another thrilling mystery filled with drama and her trademark surprises. 20 years after a baby is stolen from a stroller, similar theme. Oh. A woman is murdered in a care home, and 2 crimes are somehow linked, and a good bad girl may be the key to discovering the truth. Edith may have been tricked into a nursing home, but at 80 years young, she's planning her escape. Patience works there, cleaning messes and bonding with Edith, a kindred spirit, but Patience is lying to Edith about almost everything. Edith's own daughter, Cleo, won't speak to her, and someone new is about to knock on Cleo's door, and their intentions aren't good. With every reason to distrust each other, the women must solve a mystery with 3 suspects, 2 murders, and 1 victim. If they do, they might just find out what happened to the baby who disappeared, and the mother who lost her, and the connections that bind them. In the style of Daisy Darker and Rock, Paper, Scissors, The Good Bad Girl is a thriller in which nobody can be trusted, and the twists are fast and furious. If you want something twisty, Alice
like
Feeney's
Daisy Darker. My second pick comes from our YA collection, and this is Tiffany D. Jackson's Monday's Not Coming, published in 2018. Monday Charles is missing, and only Claudia seems to notice. Claudia and Monday have always been inseparable, more sisters than friends, so when Monday doesn't turn up for the first day of school, Claudia is worried. When she doesn't show for the second day, or the second week, Claudia now knows something is wrong. Monday wouldn't just leave her to endure tests and bullies alone, not after last year's rumors and not with her grades on the line. Now Claudia needs her best and only friend more than ever, but Monday's mother refuses to give Claudia a straight answer, and Monday's sister April is even less help. As Claudia digs deeper into her friend's disappearance, she discovers that no one seems to remember the last time they saw Monday. How can a teenage girl just vanish without anyone noticing that she's gone? To read the list, have to read the book and see how this finds out.
Twisty. I found this one also on TikTok, Book Talk. We Used to Live Here by Marcus Kluwer. This was published last year, also in 2024, and is supposed to be like madness with the twists. Get Out meets Parasite in this eerily haunting debut and Reddit hit, soon to be a Netflix original movie starring Blake Lively, about two homeowners whose lives are turned upside down when the house's previous residents stop for an unexpectedly visit. As a young queer couple who flip houses, Charlie and Eve can't believe the killer deal they just got on an old house in a picturesque neighborhood. As they're working in the house one day, there's a knock on the door. A man stands there with his family, claiming to have lived there years before and asking if it would be all right if he showed his kids around. People pleaser to a fault, Eve lets him in. As soon as the strangers enter the home, uncanny and inexplicable things start happening, including a family's youngest child going missing and a ghostly presence materializing in the basement. Even more weird, the family can't seem to take a hint that their visit should be over, and when Charlie suddenly vanishes, Eve slowly loses her grip on reality. Something is terribly wrong with the house and the visiting family, or is Eve just imagining things? We Used to Live Here.
I have that on my to-be-read list. Third pick is Tangerine, a book I was not at all familiar with. This is by Christine Mangan. This was published in 2018. The last person Alice Shipley expected to see when she arrived in Tangier with her new husband was Lucy Mason. After the horrific accident at Bennington, the two friends, once inseparable roommates, they haven't spoken in over a year. But Lucy is standing right there, trying to make things right. Perhaps Alice should be happy. She is not adjusted to life in Morocco, too afraid to venture out into the oppressive heat. Lucy, always fearless and independent, helps Alice emerge from her flat and start exploring the country. But soon a familiar feeling starts to overtake Alice. She feels controlled and stifled by Lucy at every turn. Then Alice's husband John goes missing, and she starts to question everything and everyone around her.
This is another one that I found on Book Talk. The One, published in 2016 by John Mars. How far will you go to find the one? A simple DNA test is all it takes. Just a quick mouth swab, and soon you'll be matched with your perfect partner, the one you are genetically made for. That's the promise made by Match Your DNA. A decade ago, the company announced that they had found the gene that pairs each of us with our soulmate. Since then, millions of people around the world have been matched, and the discovery has its downside. Test results have led to the breakup of countless relationships and upended the traditional ideas of dating, romance, and love. Now, 5 very different people have reached notification that they've been matched. They're each about to meet their one true love, but happily ever after isn't guaranteed for everyone, because even soulmates have secrets, and some are more shocking than others. A word-of-mouth hit in the United Kingdom, The One is a fascinating novel that tells how even the simplest discoveries can have complicated consequences. So,
Genetic matches.
Genetic matches.
Huh.
What kind of twist is in that?
My fourth pick is Stay Awake by Megan Golden. This was published back in 2022. Liv Reese wakes up in the back of a taxi with no idea where she is or how she got there. When she's dropped off at the door of her brownstone, a stranger answers, a stranger who now lives in her apartment and forces her out in the cold. She reaches for her phone to call for help, only to discover her phone's missing, and in its place, a blood-stained knife. That's when she sees that her hands are covered in black pen, scribbled messages like graffiti on her skin. Stay awake. 2 years ago, Liv was living with her best friend, dating a new man, and thriving as a successful writer for a trendy magazine. Now she's lost and she's disoriented in New York City that looks nothing like what she remembers. Catching a glimpse of the local news, she's horrified to see reports of a crime scene where the victim's blood has been used to scrawl a message across a window, the same message that's inked on her hands. What did she do last night? And why does she remember nothing from the past 2 years? Liv finds herself on the run for a crime she doesn't remember committing as she tries to piece together the fragments of her life. But there's someone who does know exactly what she did, and they'll do anything to make her forget permanently. This is kind of in the vein of Christopher Nolan's Memento. So it's an electrifying novel that plays with both your memory and murder.
Memory and murder. My last pick, One of the Good Guys by Araminta Hall. This was published last year in 2024. If most men claim to be good, why are most women still afraid to walk home at night? Desperate to escape the ghost of his failed marriage, Cole upends his life. He leaves London behind for a remote stretch of coast, relishing the respite from the noise, the drama, and relentless careerism that curdled his relationship and mental health. Lenora has made the same move for similar reasons. She's living a short walk from Cole's seaside cottage, preparing her latest art exhibition. Although Cole still can't figure out what went wrong with his marriage, and Lenora is having trouble acclimating to the hostile landscape, the pair forges a connection on the eroding bluff they call home. Then 2 young female activists raising awareness about gendered violence disappear while passing through. Cole and Lenora suddenly find themselves in the middle of a police investigation and the resulting media firestorm when the world learns what happened. And the tension escalates alongside the search for the missing woman. They quickly realize that they don't know each other very well at all. One of the Good Guys.
My last pick comes from popular author Greer Hendricks and Sarah Pekkanens, and this is The Wife Between Us, which was published back in 2018. When you read this book, you will make many assumptions. You will assume you are reading about a jealous ex-wife. You will assume she is obsessed with her replacement, a beautiful younger woman who is about to marry the man they both love. You will assume you know the anatomy of this tangled love triangle. Assume nothing. Twisted and deliciously chilling, this book exposes the secret complexities of an enviable marriage and the dangerous truths we ignore in the name of love. Read between the lies when you read this book. The Wife Between Us.
The read between the lies. I love it.
That's a twisty one for you.
Well, if you love a twist, I hope that we give you some good ideas on books, the twistiest ones we could find.
And we also have a nonfiction extra pick today, and that is The Maid and the Socialite, The Brave Women Behind Green Bay's Scandalous Minahan Trials by Linda Drews. And this author is coming to the Kimberly Library on February 3rd. Tracy, our adult services librarian, has her booked for an author visit, and she was going to talk about this book at 5:30 on February 3rd. And this book, In the Shadows of Progress, 2 women's stories were erased until now. What if a respected surgeon could destroy your life with just one diagnosis?
Wow.
In early 20th century Green Bay, Wisconsin, this terrifying reality was all too true. For 2 women, Mary, an illiterate maid, and Molly, a college-educated socialite. They both fell victim to the physical violence and mental abuse of celebrated surgeon Dr. John R. Minahan. To silence them, he claimed they had the shameful and dreaded disease of syphilis. This is the first full account ever written about that doctor whose wealth built a college stadium, a science hall, and a 6-story office building, all which are named for him. While history lost or perhaps erased both Mary's and Molly's heroic stories until now.
Wow.
Yeah. So
right here in Green Bay, twists and turns.
So if you want to come and hear this author, Linda Drews, do her author visit February 3rd, 5:30. At the Kimberly Public Library.
Have to make a date to get there. Well, thanks for joining us this week, and we hope that we see you next week.
We gave you some good ideas for twisty-turny books for this cold winter. Thank you for watching our videos. Find us on our Facebook page, Kimberly Public Library website, and our YouTube channel, and we'll see you next time.
Bye!